Okay, so lastly, um, after observing Miss London, some summary of what I saw. For instructional strategies used, a lot of cooperative learning, um, having the students work together, telling their partner what they're doing. They were asking each other a lot of questions and just working really well together. Problem solving, really, how do you push through? How do you persevere? And then also discovery learning. They had to build it, they had to test it, they had to redo it. So a lot of learning on their own. For differentiated instruction, students could work at their own pace. Some groups were building, some groups were testing, some groups were redoing, some groups were kind of stretching the imagination of what they could do with their sled. Other things that I saw her do to differentiate was giving them more complicated tasks. How do you slow down your sled? What could we use of the materials we have to slow it down? Let's test it. Let's see what it looks like. Just things to think about, things so that they are thinking outside the box and not just like trying to check off a box to complete the lesson. For student engagement, there was a girl who was off task often. She did not have a partner that day, so the teacher had to kind of stop what she was doing with other groups and go back and work with her. But no matter what, if the girl was talking to other groups, the teacher was on it. She knew exactly, how to control her and make sure that she was working and that she was on task, getting what she needed to get done. Same with working with her, kept her on task, didn't do the work for her, even though she was her partner, but kind of led her in the right direction. For the other groups, though, the teacher made it a point to go around to all the groups and check in, see where they're at. At some point during the lesson, she was with every single group. She would ask each individual student, what did you do? How's it going? And just try to gauge from their responses if they were participating or if the one person was doing all of the work. And then the students were also keeping each other on task. It was funny when one student was trying to test and the other one was like looking in the other direction. Hey, I need your help. Hey, you need to come back over here. Hey, can you do this? So it was really nice to see that with the groups. For classroom procedures and management, she gave very specific instructions up on a projector of what she was looking for. You built your sled yesterday. Today you are going to test your zip lines. We were in the library. So she showed them like 3 different points where they could tape their string from on the bookshelf so that they knew exactly what they could do to test, but if they had other ideas that was okay. For management, kids knew that they were supposed to listen to her. They were quiet when she spoke, so you could tell that she really had a presence in the classroom and that there was classroom management. She allowed them time to talk, when they were working and testing, kind of that controlled chaos. But always was able to bring them back on task if she kind of heard that they were talking about their weekend or their cell phone or something like that. So classroom management I thought was excellent. For the environment, you can tell she is a very laid-back teacher, so the kids kind of felt laid back. Students were not afraid to ask her questions. They were not scared to, make a mistake, so that environment was very positive and very comfortable. Students did know the rules, though. When she got them back together, they were quiet. If she told them to keep it down, they talked a little more quietly. She also brought prizes for the students, which I thought was really nice. So I think that also, adds to your classroom environment, that it's fun and learning is fun, and that she enjoyed teaching just as much as they should enjoy the process of learning. Other things that I had observed, she really was good at asking leading questions. Kids brought their zip line down and one of them sat and they were like, done. So she went over and was asking those scaffolding, asking those leading questions so that students really had to think about what they were doing, why they were building it, how would slowing it down affect it? How could you slow it down? If we added more weight to it, what would that do? She also helped them work through their problems. She never, ever gave a student an answer like, you should do this. Why don't you do that? So I wrote down a quote. She said, I'll let you figure it out. So I thought that was nice that she, wasn't just giving them the answer and was really making them think about it. To reflect kind of as from an administrator point of view about the whole process, things I would change about the lesson, I would have given the students some written instructions She did have it up on the front board, but just so they could refer back to it if they were confused about what did I do the day before? What did I have to do? What had to go into my sled? And another thing I would have done, and I think this is the math teacher in me, is have somewhere where they could record all of their data. How fast did it go? At what height am I putting my string? What worked well, what didn't? Just like maybe a table to organize my thoughts. Something that was surprising was how well the students pushed through. These were 5th graders going into 6th grade. So as a high school teacher, sometimes I think the younger students are a little needier, but meanwhile, a lot of my students would have quit. If their sled fell apart, they would have stopped. These kids really pushed through and really were working, like taping different things on and adding erasers to slow it down and adding weight to it just to see what it did. So for me, it was surprising that she really had this group of kids that could persevere through problems and really have really good problem-solving skills. So thinking about me doing this in the future as an administrator, I think this experience was good because it was observing a hands-on lesson, not just, the teacher talking and the students listening and completing tasks that were necessary. It's really hard to observe controlled chaos and think like, this is exactly how it should be. You have to see that the teacher has patience, that they have control, that they're allowing the students to explore, that they're allowing them to get a little loud and get their hands dirty. So I thought it was a really good first experience to do kind of as the administrator on this side. Does the teacher have true control of what's happening, or is it literally chaos? So hers was great. This was perfect. So I think that really kind of transformed the way that I might look at future observations. And I might want all my observations to really look like that. Are the kids engaged? Are they doing it, or are you giving them all the information? I thought it was a great lesson to pick. I thought this was a very interesting experience. It's weird being on this side, judging their classroom management or judging their lesson plan or the way they're going to do something. Initially when Cindy had talked to me, she was very vague on what she was going to do. And I thought, oh my gosh, she doesn't know what's happening. But she was very meticulous about what she gave them to do and how she gave it to them and how it unfolded. If it was fast, it was slow. She knew where all of her students were at. She knew what they were working on or what they should be doing and really stayed on top of it. Thanks.